Alright, now that covert ops are done, let's head on out to Egypt. Thankfully, the mission didn't disappear while we were over in India. So, the usual team's gonna head out there. Skyder, unfortunately, is still being melded. There's a couple of troops inside testing. I'm not really willing to pull them, considering they're only a couple days from being done. And I don't think you can pull anybody early out of getting cybernetic implants or meld, so gonna have to do this with just Cecilin, unfortunately.
We're dropping you just inside the Egyptian border. It looks like the UFO landed out in the boonies. We need to secure the surrounding area and eliminate any hostiles before they threaten the local population.
So it seems like a pretty bog standard UFO mission.
We're in position and awaiting further orders.
Roger that, Big Sky. Strike one, you are green to deploy. Approach with extreme caution. Current enemy status at the site is unknown.
Well, with any luck, this will be just a bog standard UFO mission, but the fact that it's a class we haven't seen yet really worries me, as we've seen the large scouts, which means there's a pretty good chance this thing is even bigger than a scout ship. I'm hoping that it'll be a supply class vessel because those are loaded with Illyrium alloys and everything else, but we'll just have to see when we get there. I know for a fact that it's not a battleship, as those won't show up just yet, and also the Sky Ranger actually has to land on the battleship itself rather than on the ground outside of it when the battleship crashes or lands, so we'll have to wait to see one of those. So as per the usual, just gonna slowly move up because again, this is a landing, which means there's going to be the maximum amount of pods for this class of alien vessel. Although so far so good. Let's keep everyone on Overwatch and hope that they come to us first. That's the one problem with snipers. Unfortunately, on the first turn, they're pretty much useless unless you trigger a pod on the first move, and then even if you use them to shoot, then they're just going to be open to return fire because they won't be in cover. Oh, that's lucky. They're coming towards us. Well, Annette got one of them for sure. I heard her little victory quote. That asshole's all the way back there. And unfortunately this one, Overwatch didn't scratch him twice. So we're gonna have to waste a turn shooting him, unfortunately. Now Annette has an alright chance to hit him, and I would like to fear the kill, so we'll give it a try.
Die.
Jesus, lady. Oh man, I'm keeping you away from high explosives from now on. Holy shit. So unfortunately we actually lost eyes on the floater back there. Which means because it's an Overwatch, Hill has to go 1 point. Oh, I did see where the meld was for a brief instant. Still didn't trigger the Overwatch. I'm going to have to move Hill forward again, which just risks popping a pod again. And of course she doesn't... Well, she does see it, but she didn't trigger the Overwatch. But because she sees its squad sight, kicks in. I don't think I can overstate how much I love squad sight. That would not have been possible if I had chosen snapshot. That's one of the reasons why squad sight is actually now the base skill for all snipers in XCOM 2. Excuse me. So now that the first outside pod has been neutralized, there probably won't be another one on this side of the alien vessel, as we can actually see it starting to come into view now right by the meld canister. So there might be one in that docking bay, so we'll just have to take it nice and slow and see if anything comes up to meet us first. Looking back on it, I probably should have Cyanox more up and to the right than he is right now. Try and get him to activate the pods, and then I can position my more squishier soldiers a little better than what I have right now, but, well, hindsight in 2020 and all that. Although, since they're clustered around him, they are getting his defensive field bonus, so I'm not too worried about a stray shot taking them all out right now. And nobody's sprinting forward, everyone's on Overwatch, so it should be okay. I definitely heard something there. Now it's just a matter of moving up the stragglers and slowly breaching into the docking bay from this side. Obviously, I'd like to get the meld if possible, but I might get some meld out of this UFO if there's like, you know, mechtoids or heavy floaters or anything like that, but still 10 meld is 10 meld. It's looking clear enough. I might be able to get somebody over there on the next turn if I move them close enough. So we'll start with Hill again, pop any overwatches, and she can also run and gun out of there. Oh, she just spotted the mutons. Normally this wouldn't be too bad, although you might have noticed that they're not using light plasma rifles anymore. Those are the big boy plasma rifles, which can do double-digit damage easily. So we're gonna have to be a lot more careful. And of course she's flanked in half cover. So she might be able to get... she doesn't need a flank on any of them, unfortunately. I probably should have taken the shot here, because odds are on they're not going to move, and if they do move, they're just going to move back and dodge the shot anyway. So that's, you know, again, another mistake on my part. We'll get Cecilin forward. He should be able to get eyes on everything now, and on the next turn start picking them off. And of course there's this. Yeah, I realize now I should have used the rocket before I put Hill into Overwatch, because now she could have actually taken a shot at one of these guys. And two of them use the Intimidate skill, trying to make my soldiers panic. Fortunately, since they're mostly veterans, that doesn't happen. Now, I would like to get close enough to use my grenade. I would like to keep the weapon fragments if possible, because I still have a lot more weapon research to do. But that's a group of 3 mutons with regular plasma rifles. I don't really want to take too much of a chance. Fortunately, we get Drat into cover. He should be able to pick off one of the guys in the back there. Well, should being the operative word. Oh, that's annoying. That's really annoying. So I'm just wondering where to run Cyanox to. I considered putting him by the soldiers to give him the defensive boost, but again, I really want to get that meld on the next turn. So, unfortunately, I just have to clean these guys up with a grenade. And that actually gets him a promotion, so I'm not too upset about that for sure. Alright, quick cut there as we move everybody up again. Nothing much happens, so I didn't see the need to show it right now. The other meld is over there as well. And Cyanox got the meld on his last turn. Yeah, that was just a turn of moving everybody up, which is why I just skipped over it. Unfortunately, he procs not only a Sectoid Commander, but a Mechtoid as well, and the Mechtoid, of course, instantly goes into Overwatch. It's really too bad that I can't run and punch. So right now I'm looking for Hill. I want to get her to pop its Overwatch with her Lightning Reflexes. Of course, she's way too far out, and Run and Gun is still on cooldown. Considering being a little risky and actually putting her more out in the open, pretty decent chance to hit both things, because that commander's actually flanked from this perspective, and I think Durand will be okay if I run her up to that full cover. And unfortunately, again, Cyanox won't be able, Cecilin won't be able to hit anything because he's got Squad Sight, not Snapshot. So there's no sense in running him up just to have him blink off an HP or 2 with his pistol. Unfortunately, Hill did not trigger the Mechtoid with her Lightning Reflexes, so that's really not good. I decided to take a pot shot. Obviously, I fuck it up. At this point, I just kind of throw a lot of caution to the wind. I'm running everybody forward, trying to give that thing a plethora of targets, and unfortunately, Dradolin does trigger its Overwatch and get shot pretty bad for his trouble. Now, while the Mechtoid is a pain in the ass, what I'm really worried about is that commander in the back, either mind-controlling somebody or putting up a shield around the Mechtoid. And unfortunately, Cyanox can't see the commander. He does get a really nice hit off on the Mechtoid, though. So a couple more shots and it should go down. Obviously that won't happen with Cecilin, but I do have a few soldiers left over with shots left. We'll move him forward. Again, he can at least plink something with his pistol if need be. And fortunately, it is in range of an alien grenade. And I actually decide I really just want to get the 5 damage on it and kill it in one shot and hopefully take the commander out as well this turn. So again, still trying to feed Annette a few kills. I figure, she'll probably be able to kill the thing. And I realized, not the worst shot to hit the commander either. Pretty much a guaranteed kill on the Mechtoid though. Oh my fucking god. Are you kidding me right now? Drag, can you fix this problem? Alright, thanks bud. So unfortunately that still leaves the commander in back there. Smots doesn't have the worst chance in the world to hit it. I decided just to go for it. He actually manages to knock off 7 HP, which I'll definitely take. Unfortunately, the commander now gets its turn. And that's definitely not what I wanted to see. It looks like there was another Mechtoid and 2 vanilla sectoids up on that walkway. And it goes for one of its psi powers. Fortunately, mind control did fail on whoever it chose to go after. I'm not sure who that was, actually. And of course, that other Mechtoid goes into Overwatch, and the sectoids sprint away. And sorry about that cut. Basically, I left the game running for a few minutes. Just wasn't really sure what to do. Eventually, I decided to roll the dice with Annette, and I cannot believe I pulled this one off.
I'm going to get you. All of you.
Yeah, that's nice, lady. Anyway, that earns her promotion up to lieutenant, so we'll upgrade her after this mission's done with. And right now, it's moving everybody into Overwatch. I'm kind of hoping that Mechtoid is going to hard charge forward, or at least the sectoids will, and I can take care of it that way. But dealing with 2 Mechtoids one after another like this is really a pain in the ass. And meanwhile, Drad heals himself up. So, like, nobody's in danger of dying in one hit. It's just more a matter of blasting through 20 HP in one round is a lot more difficult than it should be, because nobody really has the good plasma weapons yet. Once I do, I might even be able to take this thing down within just 1 or 2 attacks if I'm lucky.
Solid copy.
So again, moving Hill forward first, letting Lightning Reflexes take care of it. But as the door is in the way and that Mechtoid hasn't moved forward, doesn't look like I'm gonna need it. But again, caution over everything. So at this point, I'm concerned that it might have somehow got back up to that middle walkway, so I'm moving forward very slowly and carefully, especially if the sectoids are still up there. But it looks like they might have all leapt down into that leftmost room. So again, just being careful. Although, from what it looks like they have decided to overwatch the door themselves, so I'm going to have to be the one to break the stalemate at some point here. Yeah, case in point, they're just moving around in there. They're not moving forward. They're just getting into cover. All right, so Duran gets the so-called honor of popping open the door. Now, hopefully she'll have a direct shot in. And yeah, it looks like one of the sectoids used Mind Meld on the Mechtoid, which gave it the shield, which only takes half damage from anything. And of course she misses again. Just fucking great.
Shoot, miss the target.
Okay. So while I'd love to take out that sectoid that's doing the Mind Meld, that might not be possible, as I can't see anything but the Mechtoid, and of course it has a reaction shot, but that's what Lightning Reflexes are for.
Incoming fire.
I really should start putting 2 assaults on my team, because Lightning Reflexes is just so useful, as is Rapid Fire. Not the best chance with Rapid Fire, so I decided to just go with a regular shot, take off half the shield at least. And unfortunately, nothing too crazy I can do with this thing. I don't really have a good vector for a rocket. He's not nearly close enough to punch the thing. It's more going to be a matter of slowly plinking it down, keeping in cover, and just trying to outlast it. And hopefully the sectoids will mess up and come forward. And I roll the dice on this shot and fuck it up, of course.
No damage on selected target.
Alright, so I think I'll have Cecilin watch the middle walkway. If any of the sectoids are still up there, he'll obviously be able to one-hit kill them, maybe even double tap them both. And then all I have to worry about is the mechtoid. I mean, this is the fourth pod now, so there's probably only whatever's left in the command room. I mean, it's not too bad so far, and thankfully I've only managed to pop one pod at a time before clearing them all out, so this hasn't been too rough. It's just more a matter of a slow, protracted siege rather than anything too crazy. And the sectoids do start moving around, so hopefully they're getting antsy and they'll move forward. That one actually decides to go for the mind meld on its friend, which is actually right around the corner from a net there. I'm really happy it didn't decide to put a shield back on the mechtoid. And smoke grenade saving Cyanox's bacon once again. That sectoid moves. And activates Overwatch. And the other meld is still plinking away over there. But I have to get through this mechtoid first. No reason I shouldn't be able to take all three of these guys out on this turn. It's just going to take a little bit of finagling. I'd like to take out the both the sectoids at once. Pretty good chance to hit the one doing the buff. And if I manage that, then the other one will die too. Excellent. And that instantly fries the brain of the one getting the buff, and all that's left is the mechtoid. Unfortunately, Cyanox is a little too far out of range to actually go in for the punch, so I'm going to have to be a little more clever about this. And Ed has a pretty good chance to do a big whack of damage, and Cyanox can do up to 10 damage with his railgun, especially if I move him up close to make sure he doesn't miss. So with any luck, he should die in just a few attacks. I was a little hesitant to run him up because I didn't want to get like 2 helpings of plasma mini cannon into his face. So Hill, I run and gun because the idea is I'm going to try and get her as close as I can and use a rapid fire to take out most of its HP and then maybe finish the job with Duran or Cyanox. Decent enough chance to hit, but we'll see if we can't just soften it up a bit first. Duran has almost 80%. Man, that wasn't even nearly the kind of damage I was hoping to see. See, I got to be a little more risky with Cyanox here. Hopefully you can take out like half this thing's remaining HP in one blow. Just one square away from a guaranteed 12 damage, that's a piss off. Very good, full damage. Okay, one more shot ought to do it. So, almost guaranteed to hit. Emphasis on almost. Okay, I'm actually starting to run out of attacks now. This is getting a little worrying. I don't want that thing to get a shot off on Hill. She's flanked. Dradlin. Oh my god, are you shitting me right now? And all Cecilin can do is Plinku at it with his pistol, which only goes up to 2. I wasn't really willing to use my grenade here because I wasn't sure if that was a UFO flight computer right next to it or not, and the pistol was a guaranteed hit as well. And a guaranteed 1 fucking damage. And, of course, Moths can't see him either. So maybe if I'm lucky, this mechtoid will actually move and trigger Smots' Overwatch. I'm not even remotely that lucky.
X-ray on the move. They're flanking us.
And he unloads onto both Cyanox and Cecilin, getting a crit on poor Cecilin, taking out a ton of his HP. Oh, sorry, that was Drad. My bad. Yeah, Drad's just the butt monkey of this mission so far.
Don't squirm. I might miss.
Alright, so Duran will heal him back up from a one-hit KO range again. And Not really sure who to let have the kill here. I decided to just give it to Hill. And, of course, it falls on the thing I didn't want it to fall on to begin with. Whatever. Alright, with all that jolly out of the way, the rest of this is just sped up a bit because, again, we're just moving everybody forward. And there wasn't too much footage, so I didn't feel justified in just cutting it out. So, again, sending a couple of soldiers up the middle, just be sure to flush out anything there, and the rest can just proceed through the room. All three of these paths, both rooms in the middle, passageway right here, should come back together in one room before the bridge, if I remember the layout of this UFO correctly. So there isn't too much harm in splitting them up right now. They're not going to go like too far out of their way. And actually, I finally managed to figure out where the other meld canister is. It's actually outside this little breach in the hull. So I send Cyanox out after it, just in case there's anything too scary out there. 2 turns left. No reason I shouldn't be able to pick it up. And so far, so good. Just going to keep moving everybody forward. Mostly just leapfrogging in case there's anything in there. And basically what Volin is saying there, oh, this is where they've been taking people after abducting them. So the ship class isn't supply, it's actually an abductor class. Nothing too fancy in it. It just has like more supplies, a couple alien surgeries you can sell for some credits. Nothing too crazy like a supply ship or a battleship, unfortunately. So I decided, first things first, let's get the meld and then get Cyanox back in here. And I'm actually going to slow this down for normal speed just to show you one of my biggest piss-offs of XCOM 1. Just how finagly it is to try and click on something to either like hack an Exalt relay, pick up the meld canister, open a door. In fact, I actually just saved the game here just in case Cyanox decided to move instead of pick it up. Like, that's how worried I was about it. And then I realized, oh, if I just rotate once more, then it doesn't keep like blinking away. So I felt pretty silly about that. Quick cut later, and we move up to the bridge door. And just for Annette being snarky with me, she gets to open the door. Yeah, there wasn't anything in that surgery room. So the last pod should be in here.
I've seen enough. I don't think there's any question now. The goal of this alien research is to the detriment of all mankind.
You know, I'm surprised it took you, what, like this is mission 16. We've done like 2 per mission for a while. This is like 30 operations in, and you're only now realizing that the aliens aren't exactly our BFFs.
Okay.
Oh god, why didn't I just turn your voiceovers off? Fortunately, the sectoid commanders decided to be really, really fucking stupid and basically open them up to all kinds of flanking, so this wouldn't take too long. And as you can see, if I hadn't done the alien base yet, there would actually be outsiders in here instead of sectoid commanders. I don't think you can see any sectoid commanders, no matter how much you stall out the base, until you actually do the base mission. I don't know if you can get like the next sort of psychic type to show up before the commanders this way. I've never really tested it because it seems like a really bad idea. Speaking of bad ideas, let's try and stun it.
Looks like you're coming home with us.
Now, well, I believe I've already got the interrogation on the commander, and even then, I don't think I'd get much out of the research benefit. I just want to get as many plasma pistols as I can, because they cost a lot to manufacture, and the more that I steal, the better. I'm not 100% sure why I didn't just go for the kinetic strike on this thing. I think I was worried that I might blow up that surgery there, or a flight computer or something useful. Now, all that's left is the final commander who ran up into that little offshoot right there. Don't know if I'll be able to get him on this turn. For now, I'll just try and flush him out.
Okay, I'll check it out.
In fact, like, I doubt anybody will have eyes on this side now. I didn't figure they would. So for now, Overwatch, hope it runs out in suicides, and we can call it a day.
Heading to that location. It's killing time.
Alright, we'll see what it decides to do. At first I thought it was moving out, but it actually decided to go for the mind control. And this is why I gave Smot's neural damping. That mind control would have otherwise succeeded. And so he's only knocked out for 1 turn. but now all the aliens' psychic abilities are stuck on cooldown for the maximum amount of turns, so meaning Cynox can just basically punch it right out of the hull.
Initiating close quarters system.
Beautiful.
All mission objectives completed.
I was really fortunate that I didn't miss a pod back in the Labyrinthian ship earlier. That has happened to me clearing out battleships before. It's incredibly annoying. So I do look into a couple of promotions there. Sergeant Duran gets her lieutenant stripes, and Cynox moves up to major. I've decided, yeah, I probably need somebody with revive. I've been getting fucked over by people getting shot way too much. And Cynox gets overdrive, meaning it basically works like the Heavy's bullet storm ability, so now he can shoot and then move, or even shoot twice in a row. At least I believe he can shoot twice in a row. I'll have to look into that the next mission. Shitload of corpses, one captive, a lot of Illyrium, and probably enough alloys to take me into the endgame. Little extra mel for taking out a couple of mechtoids.
In the last few months of her captivity, Exalt forces launched a direct assault on the aliens in order to recapture her for themselves. If what she's saying is true, Exalt is even more brazen and dangerous than we initially suspected.
No, Bradford, they really aren't. They're like lemmings to the slaughter. Alright, so we got a bit of a quiet period now. Probably a good idea to start looking into getting some upgrades, facilities built. Definitely going to need to get a couple more satellites because I'm running out of money again. Got another workshop up, so hopefully I can get another uplink built, because the more uplinks you have, the more engineers you need. I have 44 engineers. And a Nexus needs 45. Holy shit. And this really sucks because the Nexus would give me 4 satellites by itself, plus 1 for every adjacent uplink next to it. So if I just built it, you know, right there and got rid of the alien containment and built the alien containment elsewhere, then it would have been alright.
At maximum capacity. Additional uplink required.
So yeah, I'm just missing 5 satellites right now. I would love to get it above all the countries. I haven't had a run yet where at least one country hasn't left, so I'm hoping to make this the magic one. So I'm just kind of wondering, like, do I want to excavate that? Yeah, I might as well. I'm starting to run out of space to build. There's only about 6 more slots. And I know for a fact I'm going to need at least 1 more for sure for storyline building, unfortunately. And that's just me double checking what combat stims do. I've never had need of them. And we finally have enough money, alloys, and everything else to get all the plasma rifles that we could want. Although I'm not going to get too crazy because a lot of my frontline troops don't use their rifles, so 3 should be enough for now. Whenever I decide to click the submit order button. There we go. Man, where the hell were you last mission? You can actually hit shit with a plasma rifle. Annette, Dradalin, Cecilin, everybody. Alright, quick hop, skip, and a jump. And here's the hyperwave relay. Doesn't really do much right now except for take up a base slot, but you'll see what it does in due time.
Hyperwave uplink online.
Alright, nothing much to worry about right now. This is just after a quick great market run, I decide probably a good idea to upgrade our air fleet. So I spend most of the rest of our cash on a few firestorms. Hopefully we can get Skyder back now. And I'll be hoping a while longer.
Commander, we're receiving several urgent requests for assistance. There are abductions in progress at each marked site on the hologlobe.
Unfortunately, I'll probably have to forgo those engineers. I really need to worry about the panic in Asia. South America I can deal with. Asia, not so much. Australia will panic, and I'm running out of satellites and uplinks. Alright, that's going to end it here. As much as I hate to say this, after coming back from such a long hiatus, I have no idea when the next video is going to come out because I start a new school rotation Monday morning first thing. So we'll just have to see how much free time I have after that because I'm also starting a couple of other pet projects, but I'll do my best. I will get this thing done before the year's out. You can hold me to that for sure. All right, thanks for being so patient with me, guys, and I will see you next time.